The suspect is an Afghan national, but he also has ties from the CIA, according to CIA leadership, because there's 2 soldiers lying in the hospital bed. Our prayers go out to the 2 soldiers and their family. We pray for a full recovery, but we also pray that the American people wake up.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones, publisher of Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com. And this episode, we're dealing with the story that should have every American's attention. 2 National Guardsmen serving this country were ambushed just blocks from the White House. And the shooter, according to federal officials, wasn't even American. He was a foreign national who entered the United States through a refugee resettlement pipeline. This wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. Officials are calling it a targeted attack.
That happened today at approximately 2:15 local time in Washington, D.C., where 2 of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA, and we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because this is a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to...
But here's the kicker, brothers and sisters. The suspect is an Afghan national, but he also has ties from the CIA, according to CIA leadership. He previously worked as the member of a partner force in Kandahar that was linked to the CIA during the U.S. military agency present in Afghan. The relationship ended after the withdrawal and troops evacuation in 2021, the same period when he was reportedly admitted to the U.S. under a refugee settlement program. So the chickens have come home to roost.
Very productive meetings, but I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America, heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met, because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not, because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down.
Authorities says he had been flagged in the past, but was still able to move freely in and out of Washington, D.C. The question Americans are asking now is simple. How did someone with that background slip through the cracks and end up attempting to kill 2 U.S. soldiers? Immigration officials are already facing pressure, but by the time the systems break, the damage is already done. The White House immediately ordered 500 additional National Guard troops into the Capitol. The Department of Homeland Security has increased surveillance and counter-terror patrols. But let's stop and ask, how did we get here? Why did it take a tragedy, 2 soldiers fighting for their lives, before anybody takes security seriously in our cities? And why does a foreign national have easier access to the Capitol firearms than everyday American who are out here struggling to survive, to follow the law? This attack has reopened every debate in America: immigration, refugee policy, terrorism, screening, accountability inside the DHS, and how our government prioritizes safety. Some politicians are already trying to spin it as a mental health issue. Others are trying to downplay the details. But we don't want no spin, because there's 2 soldiers lying in the hospital bed that don't need excuses from politicians. They need answers. And the American people want to know why our government is more focused on protecting political narratives than protecting the public. See, for years, the United States has been accepting people from war-torn regions without the capacity to verify their backgrounds properly. Some were vetted, many were not. Politicians do photo ops, agencies announce successful resettlement. Meanwhile, some of the very same people entering this country have ties or trauma that goes unchecked. And when something goes wrong, when one of the individuals commit a violent act, the victims are everyday Americans. People who serve this nation, people who wear a uniform. And yes, the Black community should care about this, because many of our brothers and sisters serve in the Guard and in the military. If they can be targeted, so can anyone else. See, mainstream media tried to hide the shooter's background for a few hours. They didn't want to say that he was a refugee. They didn't want to admit that this came through failed policy. But when the facts came out, they had no choice. The same outlets that push for open borders are now quietly reporting that a refugee committed a targeted attack on U.S. soldiers. They are hoping that the public moves on. But we're not going to move on, brothers and sisters. See, if this had happened overseas, the military will call it exactly what it is: an act of terrorism. But because it happened in Washington, D.C., the language suddenly changes. It's become an isolated incident, or it's under review. But the truth is simple. Our leaders failed to protect the people they sent to protect us. They failed those guardsmen. And unless this country gets serious about vetting and security, we will fail again. Our prayers go out to the 2 soldiers and their family. We pray for a full recovery, but we also pray that the American people wake up. A nation that cannot protect its own soldiers cannot protect the citizens. See, and we need truth and we need accountability. And I'm going to say this, especially in the Black community, because when you have millions of people that come into this country unchecked, they don't go to the rich neighborhoods. They don't go to the well-to-do neighborhoods. They purposely put them in Black communities poor black communities. And this is what I don't understand, how our black leaders, our black pastors, our black activists is not acting concerned about this issue. Because they're more around us than they're around white folks. And they could easily kill us anytime because they're around us more. So I think we really need to pay attention, Black America, to what's going on. See, because if America has a cold, Black America has the flu. It's always like that. So if it's a threat to America, it is a super threat to Black America. See, and we shouldn't be worried about them playing these political party games. We need policies that's going to protect our community, not just from migrants and outside people, but from crime and violence, from our own.
Was a great kid.
McKinley Nelson is talking about 14-year-old Armani Floyd, who lost his life Friday during a shooting in the Loop. Crowds had poured into the downtown area ahead of the annual lighting of the Christmas tree.
3, 2, 1.
But hours later, the festive mood shattered as shots rang out around 10 p.m. Police found 7 gunshot victims at State and Randolph, the oldest a 17-year-old boy, the youngest a 13-year-old girl. Within the hour, more gunfire erupted at Dearborn and Adams, where an 18-year-old and Armani were both shot.
Where is the national outrage among our black politicians for young black boys being shot at and killed, our youth being shot at and killed? A mother was attacked with her child just walking home from school in Chicago. Where is the outrage? Where is the discussion about solutions to help our children? What are they doing? They only want to talk about Trump. They only want to talk about impeaching Trump while young black boys and girls are dying in the street every weekend. They can't even go out and have a good time. Where are all these leaders that talk about the LGBTQ and all these other issues when young black boys in Chicago, 13, 14 years old, being shot and killed? Where is Jasmine Crockett? Where is AOC? Where is Ohan? Where are these people? Where's the squad talking about that young 14-year-old boy that was killed? No, they're too busy having press conferences about hair. Racism in hair. And we have to understand that more young black men and women join the military. We have to be serious about this, brothers and sisters. And we got to stop falling for the okie doke. When you have 20 million people that come into this country, it is an invasion. And it's an invasion in the black communities. Nobody want to talk about it. But that's what it is. I'm not anti-migrant. I just want good policies when it comes to immigration. Because when you let these white liberal people tell you all that stuff, but it's our communities that always suffer. And I'm Damon K. Jones, and this is the Publisher's Desk. And again, we say our prayers out to the 2 soldiers and their families, and we pray for their recovery. But we also pray that black people wake up. Please like and share and leave a comment. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay blacktastic. Peace out.
Tired of the same emotional politics that lead nowhere. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure by Damon K. Jones is the book Black America needs right now. It exposes the lies, challenges the gatekeepers, and calls for real strategy, not just symbolism. Power starts with truth. On sale, now, and available in audiobook on Amazon.
Tolerance is for cowards.
by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police, it's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the Black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the Black community needs good Black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent Black media strong. Support independent Black media with style. Rock Black Westchester merch and represent the news with the Black point of view. Every purchase helps us speak truth to power.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.